Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Desk with Ryan Potts and Jack Mitchell. I'm Ryan Potts, otherwise known as Splash. You can find me on social media at Mr. Splashman19 on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm on the U Stadium app as, you guessed it, Splash. You can find Jack on U Stadium as Jack Mitchell and on Instagram as Jack_Mitchell_01. How you doing, Jack?
Doing better after this weekend. The week started out rough, obviously.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Divisional loss. It got better though.
Yeah, that's great. I feel you. Had a little bit of a rough day today when I learned that Mr. Hank Aaron died. So, but other than that, I've been doing pretty well.
Yeah, that was a pretty shocking news to wake up to.
Yeah, it was quite a bummer. I guess I can do a little tribute. Hank Aaron, 755 career home runs, second all-time to Barry Bonds. Some people still refer to him as the home run king because he did his clean. Ended up with over 3,700 hits, 2,297 RBI. That's a major league record. He played in 25 All-Star games, won 3 Gold Gloves, was the 1957 National League MVP for the pennant-winning and eventual World Series-winning Milwaukee Braves. And he has the most total bases in baseball history. And I think we haven't been on air since Don Sutton died, right?
I think that happened during the week.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Former Dodger, 4-time All-Star Hall of Famer, won the ERA title and was an All-Star Game MVP. Also a 300-game winner. So rest in peace, Don
Big
Sutton.
losses.
Rest in peace.
Some pretty big losses for baseball, honestly. You have those two. You had Tommy Lasorda just recently.
Absolutely.
It's been a tough
even,
time.
Even last year, it seemed you could make a full starting 9 out of Hall of Famers that passed away. So rest in peace, Hank. Rest in peace, Don. Rest in peace, Tommy, of course. So on that kind of sad note, let's hop into the NFL games this weekend. I have the ticker running across with the scores. Of course, both of our teams lost. So break it down, Jack. What did the Packers do to beat the Rams?
They scored a lot of points. I really, really, really overestimated our defense. I feel like an idiot for saying they would hold them to 14. I really do, but sometimes you just get it wrong. And Troy Hill did not have the best game. He struggled a lot. He allowed that deep touchdown late. I think that's like the one deep touchdown the Rams have allowed all year long. I don't think Jalen Ramsey had a terrible game. I thought he did fine. I didn't really see Devontae Adams get too many like crazy stats or anything like that. He had the first touchdown, obviously, but and then we saw why Ramsey was upset because it was supposed to be double coverage, and Nick Scott didn't pick him up, so they lost out on that one. And definitely, though, I think the biggest one was Aaron Donald. Like, you could feel he was not making as big of an impact as we're used to seeing him make. He was hurt. He was playing through it. You could tell he just wasn't himself. And he also took a really weird penalty. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was just a strange game from Donald. Of course, he was hurt. Wasn't 100%. He did play a little bit, but it just felt off. And I think that kind of messed with the mojo the Rams had defensively.
It hurt our run defense. For sure.
Absolutely. And it was just an all-around weird game. I don't think the Packers played like out of this world. Like, they didn't look unbeatable. It just felt like a Week 11 game that the Packers are better than the Rams. And I think the Rams have a lot of room to move forward. You know, they made it to the divisional round. It's hard to do that. And you're going to have Aaron Donald moving forward. You're going to have a good offense moving forward, regardless of who's playing quarterback, frankly.
Yeah, because I was going to mention, here's the surprise. Jared Goff actually did not look bad at all. Right. And that caught me off guard. Like, he had a pretty solid game overall. He looked a little shaky, I think, towards the end. But I think if he has games like that next year, because I feel like I don't know if he's going to be the starter. I really don't know what the quarterback situation is. But if he's going to start next year and he plays like that, I think I'm okay with it. I just want to see consistency.
Right. I think it would be hard for me, at least, to think that the Rams would move on from Goff. They've invested a lot, invest money, picks. I do think he will be the starter for most of next season, if not all of next season. And I think John Wolford is going to make a solid backup. Maybe not quite Taysom Hill, but hey, he can run the ball a little bit. So if you have a Jameis Winston trick play and you let Wolford run a quarterback power, or it's like what Jacoby Brissett did for Indy while Rivers was there.
Yeah.
I think Wolford adds something.
He does.
Goff's better, but Wolford adds something.
And we completely missed this, so thanks to Holden in the chat for bringing that up. Cooper Kupp was hurt too. That was huge.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And of course, Kupp missed the Super Bowl run, and he would have probably made a difference that year. And him being out Saturday kind of hurt the flow of the offense. I've talked to Holden on the app before that Woods and Kupp are really inseparable, that one of them on their own isn't elite top 10 or whatever, but together they are one of the best, if not the single best duo in the NFL.
Yeah.
I take them blocking, yards after catch, the consistency of their hands, they are top notch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to have a yin and yang if you only have one of them.
Yeah, that's how I felt about them since they arrived, and I really feel like the yards after catch thing is definitely one of the best things that they have going for them. Like, you never really see too many deep throws. At the same time, though, when you do get deep throws, usually they're able to catch them for the most part. So, they both have a lot, but I think the yards after the catch is probably their best asset.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something that when you only have one of them, you can't capitalize on as much, because if they have the same shtick for the most part, so it's hard to defend both of them doing the same thing. But when you only have to defend Woods or you only have to defend Kupp, then you kind of have to ask questions about Van Jefferson, Josh Reynolds, who are great. They're just not Cooper Kupp right now, at least.
I think Van Jefferson is probably going to have a better impact next year, too, because I'm pretty sure Josh Reynolds is an impending free agent. So I think I'm going to predict that they let him go and that they try to get Van Jefferson a little bit more involved, because he definitely has potential.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I like what he's done. He's had a couple crazy catches this year, too. So,
yeah, I loved a lot of what Van did at Ole Miss. Then he transferred to Florida. He's a very smooth route runner. I kind of compare him a little bit to Jerry Jeudy a little bit. I forget who it was, but someone said Calvin Ridley was 100%, Jerry Jeudy was 120%. Van Jefferson's in that same vein of receiver, but I don't think he's quite as quick as Ridley or Jeudy. Of course, they're first round picks, elite talents. I think Jefferson's like 90% of the way there.
Yeah, he was a second round pick. He's almost there.
Love Van, but you know what I love more? Well,
what do you love more?
I love my team not being able to tackle defensive players on pick sixes. So
on to Baltimore.
Yeah, on to Baltimore. The Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens 17-3 in I don't want to say boring game, just low scoring. There were 4 missed field goals, so that contributes.
What was Justin Tucker doing? That was the worst game I've ever seen from him. Like, seriously. He doesn't miss those.
No, he doesn't. I believe that was the first time he'd ever missed 2 field goals within 50 yards. Granted, there was wind, but wind, it feels kind of trivial to mention wind because they're NFL kickers. But at the same time, those are fundamentally more difficult kicks. And a 46-yard field goal in wind like that, I would almost say is the equivalent of like a 55-yard field goal without wind. And I think he hit the upright twice, right?
Yeah.
Hit
or once at least.
Yeah, I think he hit the left upright first and then the right upright second. And it was just tough to see, And, of course, the headline of the game is Lamar throwing a pick 6, and then the next drive he gets knocked out of the game with a concussion.
Yeah.
So, hate to see it.
Tough stuff. And, I mean, as soon as the low-scoring games don't always have to be the most boring ones.
Right.
But when something like that happens, it kind of feels like it feels lost at that point. Like as soon as he got hurt, I kind of thought to myself, well, that's probably the game. I don't really know what else the Ravens are going to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, Huntley did some nice things. He came in, I think he had about 60 yards passing and had a couple nice runs. I know we had the 2 plays after Lamar got injured. I think we had a 3rd and 26 from our own 2 or whatever, and he picked up like 20 yards on the ground. So I thought Huntley did some nice things. And I've talked to my buddies in the AFC North group chat, and they kind of compare Huntley to Lamar, and like they're cut from the same cloth. And I think Huntley played well, all things considered. It was tough to see him miss the throw deep to Marquise Hollywood. I call him Hollywood again, Hollywood Brown. So,
yeah,
you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Yeah, we were learning that the hard way.
Absolutely. I wonder how often it is when like 2 people, like 2 hosts of a show, their teams lose the same weekend or same day, let alone the same weekend.
I remember last week you said both of our teams might get canceled, and look what happened.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, you know what else was fun? Watching Chad Henne play in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that was so fun. Oh my god, that was.
Oh my goodness. So Kansas City Chiefs knocked off the Browns 22-17. The story of the game: Patrick Mahomes left the game with concussion symptoms, neck injury. I don't really know what to call it. He just passed concussion protocol today, so I guess it was a concussion. But he got yanked down on a 3rd and 1. They ran like an option play, which is like, okay, whatever. But he gets injured on it. Chad Henne comes in, never thrown a playoff pass, and he was okay besides one terrible interception.
Yeah, he had that horrible he just acted like I forget who got the interception, but he just acted like that was the wide receiver, basically.
It was just strange.
It was ugly.
But when it came down to it,
though.
Yeah, he came down. When it came down to it, Andy Reid trusted Chad Henne. Chad Henne on a 4th and 1 for all the marbles, got it to Tyreek Hill on a quick out. Really ballsy play call. It worked. The Chiefs are hosting the conference championship game in 48 hours-ish. Yeah, 48 hours. So, hey, it worked for Kansas City, and Mahomes is coming back. So, what do you make of the fumble at the goal line by Rashard Higgins?
Oh yeah, that was definitely an interesting scenario there. To be honest with you, I wasn't paying that much attention to that. I was like multitasking while that game was on. I saw what was happening though. So let me just get this straight. It was an illegal hit, and it was a fumble through the end zone, right?
Yes. So Higgins catches it. He's running down the sideline. He dives for the end zone. Daniel Sorensen, chief safety, dives at him. There's helmet to whatever body part for Higgins. So people were calling for it to be an illegal hit, 15-yard penalty, although it was at the 1, so you get the idea. But Higgins fumbles, ball goes into the end zone, out of the end zone, so it's a touchback. Chiefs ball. But I don't think that's the problem, although many people have issues with the rule. I think the issue is people thought Sorensen led with the helmet, which it looks like he did, but he wasn't flagged for it. So
yeah, he should have been flagged for it, I feel like.
It's just a strange game all around.
It was. It's such a weird rule with fumbling out of bounds too. Like, especially like when it comes to fumbling out of the end zone, it's just such a weird rule, honestly.
Yeah, it's the only place on the field that you just straight up lose possession if you lose a fumble out of bounds. So it's just weird to me. I mean, there are ways to fix it. Maybe it's like offense gets the ball in the 20, or offense gets the ball at this spot of at the spot. Offense gets the ball at the 1. I don't know, or the spot of the fumble. Offense gets the ball at the 1. I don't know. It's weird. I do think Sorensen should have been flagged on the play, and I understand that like Browns haters or people that say, "Oh, he shouldn't have fumbled." I agree, he shouldn't have fumbled. But it's still, I think it's a legal play by Sorensen.
And when you're getting hit like that, you want to protect the ball, but It's just like it's tough in that moment.
Yeah, it happens. And you know what else was tough? Watching the swan song of Mr. Drew Brees. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers overcame their 2 regular season losses to the Saints and won on Sunday afternoon, 30-20. Brady gets his 8th career win against NFC playoff teams, which of course ties Mr. Drew Brees with 8. One of my favorite Brady stats. So what do you think of that game?
If that really was the end of Drew Brees, because I don't think he's confirmed anything, but I'm pretty sure the consensus is he's going to retire. I mean, what a legacy, first of all. Like,
Absolutely.
He's just been incredible. He's for sure Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any question about that. That game really felt like Tampa Bay had control for most of it, though, because Brees was throwing a lot of picks. He was making a lot of mistakes you don't really see from him, and that's kind of how you can tell the age is really getting to him, I feel like, because he's looked better. He's had way better games. I feel like I don't know how much of an impact Alvin Kamara had. I don't remember quite how many rushing yards he had.
I think he had a touchdown. Let's see. There was the Traquan Smith had 2, and then they had 2 field goals. So no, he didn't have a touchdown, but he did have enough yards to make me lose money.
Unlucky.
That was sad.
Yeah, but how about Jameis Winston though? Like that play was absurd.
I mean, he was wide open. Traquan Smith, 20 feet of air, 20 yards of air, even. But
it was still crazy.
I don't know. That was a backwards hat kind of throw there for Mr. Jameis Winston. He just launched it. What a 56-yard touchdown! Absolutely beautiful. Now my hair's jacked up. That's okay. 56-yard touchdown. Absolutely beautiful from Jameis. And I want to see Jameis as a full-time starter in New Orleans. What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I mean, I feel like they would still use Taysom Hill the way they usually do, and I feel like why not? I don't think Taysom Hill was terrible as a starter, but it felt like he was missing something, and I feel like Jameis is going to provide what he was missing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think when I did my quarterback power rankings, I had Jameis at number 12 before he played against. I don't remember who he would have started against the game before Denver, but I don't remember who he would have started against. I don't remember any context, but I had him number 12 because I had some confidence in him. I would have had Taysom much lower, but then Taysom started playing well, and I think I give full credit to Taysom, Sean Payton, great game plan for the most part. They did have a really easy win, if you will, against Denver without a quarterback, but hey, what do? You play the teams on your schedule, I guess, and it's not like they won by 31, right? It's like Drew Lock's not getting 31 extra points against that Saints defense.
No, he's not.
So I would be fascinated to see Jameis. I think he's a free agent right now, but I'd be fascinated to see him back in New Orleans or starting job in, I don't know, Chicago, New England, anywhere really.
Yeah, I feel like because I'm pretty sure we're already sure that New England is moving on from Cam Newton. We'll see if they finally decide, is it Jarrett Stidham time, or could they try out Jameis? You never know. Free agency is a fun place.
Yeah, Jarrett Stidham's just weird to me. Real life Patriot fans were excited about him being the number 1 quarterback moving into the season, and I was just kind of at a loss because growing up in the South, I watched my fair share of Auburn football. He never really felt like he had anything. I don't think he's as bad as Bo Nix is, but it just didn't feel like anything out of Stidham. And then he's a 4th-round pick and the backup to Brady, and then he throws a pick 6 in his first action, and I'm just like, I'm not really feeling it. And then this year he played, and it was better than Brian Hoyer, but it wasn't much better than Brian Hoyer. So I have my doubts about New England moving forward unless they get a quarterback that I trust, more than Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer, because Brian Hoyer is just not good at football anymore.
Yeah, they got. I think the last decent game I saw out of Brian Hoyer was all the way back in 2017. The Rams and the 49ers played on Thursday night, in week 3. And that was a crazy, crazy game. It was very fun. Gave me a heart attack, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, Hoyer wasn't that awful, I guess, for the Colts last year. I think he had a halfway okay game against, I think, Pittsburgh. He had a good game against Pittsburgh. Maybe he had an interception or two, but it wasn't like the eye test didn't say he was awful. The eye test this year said he was a catastrophe. I think he sucked against Miami last year too. So he had one okay game, one terrible game, then he was awful this year.
Yeah, that's not what you want in New England.
No, not at all. Especially, they're going to get some defensive talent back, Hightower back, Chung back, and I mean, theoretically, you'll have a higher draft pick. Well, they do have a higher draft pick. Theoretically, you'll get a better player with that draft pick, but for all I know, they're going to trade back 7 times and pick a Division III fullback. So yeah. Who knows? Although I do like Kyle Duggar. No disrespect to Kyle Duggar. I'm just trolling Bill Belichick.
It's what he does. He always trades back and then drafts some unknown.
Yeah. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't.
It worked with Tom Brady for the most part.
That's true. I think I saw a stat that the Patriots have won since 2010, have drafted 1 Pro Bowler, maybe since 2011. Because like post Chandler Jones, they have done nothing. Actually, Chandler Jones may have been a later pick. But Jake Bailey is the only Patriots draft pick in the last few years that's become a Pro Bowler, which is, I mean, he's a punter, but it's weird.
That's very weird.
And I think, of course, we had the legendary Frankie versus Alex debate a couple of weeks ago on the main show. And a lot of the things that Frankie doesn't like about Belichick as a coach stems from Belichick as the GM not putting the coach in a good position to succeed, I think.
Yeah. And it's a weird setup too, because don't they have the GM reporting to Belichick?
I think Belichick's technically the GM anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Seattle with Pete Carroll, that he just has all his hands in every basket, you know.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I think there's another team that's doing similar things with the GM hiring, because Washington, they hired a new GM. I forget his name off the top of my head.
That would be not Tepper. He's one of the. He's going to be an assistant or some front office. We have Martin Mayhew, and it's Marty Kearney, not Tepper.
Yeah, They said that he's going to report to Ron Rivera. So shout out to Martin Mayhew. First time I've ever heard your name. So congratulations on the general manager job. And Marty Kearney, the former Panthers general manager, is the executive vice president of football and player personnel. There you go.
So exciting times in Washington, or Landover, Maryland. Shout out.
Yeah, the DC area.
Yes.
All right.
Speaking of the DC area, I heard a certain Alex Ovechkin has COVID.
He does. I think he was at the center of some controversy where he was with some teammates in an area where he should not have been without masks. I need to get the full story really fast. So Alex Ovechkin's wife mocks NHL over COVID-19 hotel policies. Solid. So according to NHL.com, Ovechkin and 3 other Capitals are out 4 games due to COVID-19 protocol. So it seems to me that there is some contact tracing and some issues at a hotel for this. Yeah. But hey, Washington's sitting okay in the standings right now. They're second in the East. Are tied for second in the East with the Islanders. That's nice. Yeah, it's weird this year. Dallas, we're finally going to see the Dallas Stars play their first game. They had the league's first. They were the lucky recipients of the league's first COVID-19 outbreak, and as a result, they have yet to play a regular season game until tonight. And every other team's played at least twice. Yeah. And most of the league has played 3, 4, even 5 times. And then you have the Dallas Stars, 0 games played, 0 wins, 0 losses. All zeros on the standings here. Yep. Hey, but they're only 1 point behind Chicago. Poor Chicago. 3-1 for Chicago.
Unfortunate.
Tampa Bay at the top of that division at 3-0-0. Let's get some other division updates.
Shout out to Alex, beloved Vegas Golden Knights, 4-0-0 start. Have a chance to win their 5th in a row today.
Yeah, Vegas looks really good. It's Philly on top. They're 3-1-1 in the East. The West, yeah, like we just mentioned, Vegas. And in the North, how about the Montreal Canadiens? 3-0-2.
It's a nice start. Great start for them.
Points in every game. They have a lot of goals too. They have 24 goals for in 5 games.
They're cooking.
Former LA King Tyler Toffoli has been incredible for them. He almost had back-to-back. He had a hat trick the other night, and in their game last night, he scored 2. He looks really good, and I'm upset that he's not on the Kings, or anymore. But that was obviously a rebuild move. Montreal scored 7 last night. You're right, Alec.
I feel you there with the rebuilding. My good old Detroit Dead Things or Detroit Dead Wings, whatever. At least we're not last in the Central. Currently tied for 2nd, technically in points, but we are 5th in point percentage. And we're, according to U Stadium, favored to beat the Blackhawks today. I don't think that happens, but hey, I've been wrong before on polls. It's like Vegas says Chicago's the favorite, which makes sense. But I think I can check on the app, but I'm 99% sure that that Detroit is the favorite based on the app votes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 65-35 right now in favor of Detroit. It's 68-33 now.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think Chicago gets the W today.
We'll see. I feel like Chicago's been a little bit shaky as of late, but we'll see.
That's fair. But I think Detroit has such a low floor from where they're starting that it frankly doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, that's the positive about being in such a low spot. Is that there's really nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. Hey, at least I saw some power rankings before the season, and Detroit wasn't 31st, so that was exciting.
Who was?
I believe it was Ottawa, and the couple that I saw.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. I don't blame them for putting Ottawa last.
So, what do you make of the divisional alignment? And would you want to see an all Canadian division moving forward?
I don't hate the idea. I think we're just getting started. It's a 56 game season. I think the most games any team has played is 5. We really haven't gotten into the meat of the season yet. And I feel like as we get along, I feel like the rivalries are going to get a lot more intense. I mean, we get Montreal, Toronto a total of 10 times this year. They played on the opener. They played 9 more times. That's going to be fun, honestly. Yeah. I really think it's going to be fun. And we'll see moving forward. It's just the NHL, it's so geographically imbalanced that it would be really hard to do this kind of thing moving forward because there's just such a cluster of teams in the eastern or central area. And it's not really the West. You only have a couple teams sprinkled out in there's 3 teams in California. There's about to be Seattle, which I think balances out a little bit more, but then you have Arizona moving to the Central Division. And they're not really in much of a central area right now.
Right.
So it's weird.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the addition of Seattle, that is going to throw off any potential all Canadian division, because at that point you'd have to have a division of 9 to, I guess, balance out.
Yeah.
Because there's only 7 Canadian teams. So unless a team moves, which I hope a team doesn't move, of course, my beloved Atlanta has lost not 1, but 2 teams. But I hope a team doesn't have to move. But, I mean, I guess there's an open spot if you want an 8th Canadian team in Quebec or Hamilton.
I wish we got the Nordiques back. There was talk about Quebec for a while before Seattle was confirmed.
Yeah. See, I think I think I will enjoy the potential playoff matchups, where you could get a Tampa Bay versus Philadelphia in the final, or you could get a Montreal versus Philadelphia. Some of these super exciting matchups. You could get a Vegas versus Nashville. Some of these could be excellent games, and I think the potential is there because I think other conferences, other leagues, baseball, baseball, football, basketball. I think they have more established East versus West. The AL, NL has changed once in 20 years. The AFC, NFC hasn't changed since Seattle switched. The NBA stays the same for the most part, and I think the NHL can maybe not really jog it around, but they can really find something if they do it right. And I think having a division with Montreal, Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, that is a hard-hitting division. And I'm sure, obviously not Canadian, but I'm sure that's thrilling to Canadian fans everywhere.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure they love their hockey up there, so they would enjoy that. And then you have some of the bigger name players in there, like Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews. Speaking of Austin Matthews, though, him and Joe Thornton both getting hurt for. Was it Joe Thornton?
I believe it was Jumbo Joe.
Yeah, they both got hurt recently, and I just saw today that Joe Thornton is going on the long-term injured reserve.
Mm-hmm. So he's out at least a month, and Austin Matthews won't be available today, or at least for the next couple games. So tough to see. Shout out to good old Jumbo Joe.
It's still weird seeing him not on the Sharks.
Yeah, and it's weird to me as so I guess Thornton is kind of similar in a way to Drew Brees, in a way that I only remember him as a Shark, but he had a whole other career early in his career with Boston. It's when I think of Jumbo Joe, I think of Sharks. I don't think of the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years of his career in Boston. And I think very similar to Brees, that he had his career in San Diego with the Chargers. Then he goes to New Orleans, and then it's oh, hey, Drew Brees, it's there. And now the last 15 years of his career have been Hall of Fame Drew Brees,
Yeah. He just made his mark with that team. Started out. Speaking of the Chargers, though, we're going to move on back to the NFL here. Some head coach hirings, and the Chargers taking away our beloved defensive coordinator, Brendan Staley. I was not happy about that one, to say the least. I was mad for a while. We'll leave it at that. Realistically, though, I mean, that's a huge upgrade. You go from Anthony Lynn to Brandon Staley. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Anthony Lynn, just one little nugget on Anthony Lynn. The Chargers posted a goodbye video, a thank you sort of video, and Chargers fans in droves were unbelievable guy, terrible coach. And I think I think Anthony Lynn is going to find a job somewhere else. He's probably not going to be a head coach again. He does, he had a 12-win season in 2018, won a playoff game, but just some of the X's and O's, not even the X's and O's, some of the clock management, challenge management, it was just off. And I think the Chargers are for sure getting an upgrade in Staley, and I think he's going to bring some swagger, and I think the Chargers are going to be really exciting moving forward.
I mean, obviously, I'm a notorious Charger hater on the app, so that's what I don't want to see. But for the fans of that franchise, they're gonna love Brandon Staley. They really are. That's huge, honestly.
Absolutely.
And he's gonna make that defense with guys like Joey Bosa, and hopefully they finally get Derwin James back for another full season. That could be a really strong defense going forward. It's a really exciting time for defenses in LA.
Yeah, and then you throw in Kenneth Murray. If he can unlock Jerry Tillery, who I loved at Notre Dame, but it's sucked at the NFL level. If you get anything out of Melvin Ingram moving forward, although I think he's on the wrong side of 30. It's an exciting time to be a Chargers fan or a Rams fan with the defensive potential and even the offensive potential. You guys have Akers, Van Jefferson, exciting players there. The Chargers, of course, have friggin' Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, Eckler, Justin Jackson, etc. So it's an exciting time to be a Los Angeles sports fan.
I think next season the Super Bowl is actually at SoFi Stadium. So Rams Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Who knows? That could happen.
That'd be the dumbest Super Bowl ever. Both teams would be like technically home teams, but then I guess the Chargers are always the road team.
Yeah, true. They would. What is it? 56 next year.
Yeah, 56.
So it would be an even number, which makes the AFC team the designated home team.
Okay, so hey, the Chargers may have some fans show up to the Super Bowl.
Maybe. I feel like they've had more fans in that game that they played in Mexico in 2019. They had more fans show up at that game than they have had combined in like all the rest of their LA games.
Okay,
that's what it feels like, at least.
That's hilarious because they played at StubHub Center for a long time, and of course that's a venue of 30K, and you have like the AT&T Stadium in Arlington is 100K, and even like M&T Bank or First Energy, they're 68, 72K, and then you have the Chargers like getting lapped, and just in terms of attendance. So yeah, shout out in the chat, Alec and Holden mentioning that Ingram's a free agent. That's true, but of course they can bring in a guy. I believe they signed Linval Joseph. I don't remember how well he played. It was probably passable interior defensive guy, but they do need to get something out of Jerry Tillery, and they do need to have a healthy Derwin James if they want to get back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they really need to have a healthy Derwin James. Like, I feel like Derwin James is a little overrated, only in terms of, like, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I've seen people call him the best safety in the league when he's only played one full season.
Right.
And then in 2019, he missed like 13 games, I think, or something along those lines. And then this year he tore his ACL before the season even began. So.
Yeah, because when Derwin was on the field, he could at least back up the bold statements. Like, I had him ranked as my number one safety heading into 2019. Then he gets hurt. And, when he's on the field, he can, back it up. He played 2018 at an all-pro level, Pro Bowl level, 13 pass defenses, was over the place.
I got to witness one of his interceptions in person.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, he picked off Jared Goff, but then he stepped out of the one instead of getting a touchback, so that was fun.
Oh, I remember trolling Ferrari about that because I thought it was one of the dumbest plays of the season. Because all you have to do is slide or run out of the end zone or anything, but run up at the one. What did you do?
I don't know what that was a rookie mistake, and then a couple plays later, their punt gets blocked and it's a touchdown for the Rams. So,
well, classic Chargers there.
Yeah, special teams were not on their side last year either. So,
no, the good old Chargers.
That's one thing we can always count on. Here's a head coach hiring though that I think will make a lot of people happy. Robert Saleh to New York.
Oh, yeah, of course. A lot of our audience is Jet fans with U Stadium, and they love them some Saleh. And, hey, if you want a Robert Saleh T-shirt, go ahead to the U Stadium store. They are fresh off the press. I can assure you.
No breaks.
Exactly. They are gorgeous. I love the green they use. Love the white they use. Gotta love it. And I think Saleh is going to bring a lot of energy to the Jets organization. Oh, yeah. The Jets have been kind of lifeless, kind of dead, kind of Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold, Ryan Fitzpatrick for that 1 year, Geno Smith. But now it's like
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, my boy, Joe Flacco. So, you're going to get a guy that you hope is going to be QB1 for a long time, whether it's Fields or Wilson. I like Wilson, but hey, Fields looks great. Or Mac Jones, I don't know. Probably not Mac Jones.
Not Mac Jones. No.
You got your head coach. You're gonna get a quarterback. The defense is pretty good. I mean, I'm sure you can testify to that. Poor Rams, but the defense is good. The offense has some pieces, I guess. Mekhi Becton's really good.
Yeah, Becton for sure.
Denzel Mims, up and down rookie year, but year two wide receivers tend to pop sometimes. And you're going to get your quarterback. So you get your head coach, quarterback, and you can be happy. You can say you're going to go 8-8 and be optimistic. You're probably going to be wrong, but hey, you can be optimistic at least.
Better than what was it, 2-14?
Yep, 2-14. I don't know how they beat the Rams. I guess they beat the Browns because the Browns don't really. The
Browns at least
sometimes.
Yeah, they at least had their excuse with their COVID issues, but we didn't really have.
Yeah, that was just a weird game all around.
I'm gonna blame it on ugly uniform combo. I didn't like the bone gray jersey with the yellow pants. I wasn't a fan.
See, I think I'm in the minority here. I like the Rams jerseys. Like if I had more money, I would have bought a Van Jefferson jersey after he got drafted. But yeah, that was a weird pairing.
Yeah, I like the blue ones. Just the bone ones are a little weird.
Yeah, I mean the color gradient, like when I see like Aaron Donald's 99, that's a tad weird to me. But
I could live without it.
Yeah,
I don't hate it, but I could live without it.
So you know who else got new uniforms last year? The Atlanta Falcons, and they have their new head coach, Arthur Smith. How do you feel about Arthur Smith?
Well, first of all, the Falcons uniforms I do not like at all. They took the the digital alarm clock numbers in a way, or at least the square numbers from their divisional rival in the Bucks. Like I thought gradient numbers were one thing, but a whole gradient uniform is just something else entirely. Props to them though for pulling off something bold.
Yeah, I think they would maybe look better in person. Like I went to a Falcons game back in 2018 when they had their older uniforms. I feel like I would enjoy it more in person. I know the alarm clock Tampa jerseys look hideous in person, but I'm always down to give jerseys a glance in person, whether that's me physically wearing it like this or if it's just me watching football like at the stadium.
That was what I was saying about the Rams ones all the time. Was that you just had to wait to see them on the field, and on the field they look great.
Yeah, I think on the field they look great, and I only watched a handful of full games from SoFi. Love it, love SoFi, love Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. Shout out to Stan Kroenke for doing something right.
For once, that was probably the two only things I'm happy with Stan Kroenke for doing was one, bringing the Rams back, and two, building that palace. But back to Arthur Smith. I liked what he did a couple years ago. What was it in the AFC divisional round against the Ravens? I don't mean to bring back bad memories for you, but yeah, I feel like because it was the highest scoring Titans team in 16 years is what Wikipedia says at least. There's potential though, I feel like, with the Falcons because you're getting Julio Jones, you're getting Calvin Ridley, you're getting who's another guy that I want to have?
He had a good year this season.
Yeah, he did.
Dropping dimes too. I think he ended up with a 98 PFF passing grade, which for the uninitiated is better than Aaron Rodgers had. But he was dropping dimes. He had a couple tremendous throws. Yeah, it was the best Tennessee Titans offense ever in terms of points scored. The last time any team, any Oiler or Titans team, had as many points was the 1961 AFL champion Houston Oilers. So 491 points this year. That's over 30 a game. They were cooking. Didn't end up winning any playoff games, but they had a top four, fourth best scoring offense, second best total offense. So, I mean, I like the hire. I think Smith did a lot of good things in Tennessee. And, it's kind of like a little bit of a legacy here. You get LaFleur goes to Green Bay after 2018. Arthur Smith steps in 2019, steps in 2020, heads off to Atlanta. I think Atlanta can be good next season. I think a lot of their problems stem from not liking Dan Quinn the first 5 games because they were a relatively competent team down the stretch. Like if you factor in that one of their losses to Tampa was a 17-point blown lead, they would have been 5-6 down the stretch.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention all the blown leads too.
Yes, I think week 1 they just straight up lost to Seattle. Week 2, week 3 they had blown leads to Dallas and Chicago. This is why people thought Nick Foles was legit. No, he only beat Atlanta. Then they lost to Green Bay, whatever. They lost to Carolina, whatever. They fired Dan Quinn after the Carolina game, and then they were, I think, a competent team.
Yeah, they almost beat the Chiefs.
Yes, this is true. If AJ Terrell could catch, they beat the Chiefs, and we're not having this conversation because everyone's hyped up on the Falcons, And I think that one testament to how potentially good they can be. Their Pythagorean win-loss was essentially 7-9, 8-8. They finished 4-12. They have a lot of room to improve just from the luck side of things. It's like the Chargers in a lot of ways, that a lot of the Falcons' errors are self-inflicted. So in a lot of games, the Falcons are the more talented team. In a lot of games, the Chargers are the more talented team. It's just a matter of making sure they are.
Maybe just get a clip of that not diving for the fumble or for the onside kick.
Oh, man.
That was that
the watermelon kick.
They're just all standing there watching it. What are you doing?
It's I know the onside kick rule. If it stops short of the 10 yards, then you just get the ball anyways.
Yeah.
But it just kind of baffles me that why don't you have anyone just jump out at it? Because worst case scenario, you knock it somewhere and the offense recovers, but they're in a worse position than they would have been otherwise. It's just weird. The Falcons just create new ways to lose games.
Yeah.
And the Chargers do too, but the Falcons are just out there.
Yeah.
It's there's no consistency. There's no, as an Atlanta sports fan, there is no consistency with any team in Atlanta. Trae Young scores 35 one night, shoots 1 for 12 the next night. The Braves go up 3-1 on your Dodgers, blow a 3-1 lead. The Falcons choke.
Super Bowl 51.
Just a bizarre city, bizarre franchise.
At least Atlanta United won an MLS Cup.
That's true. Second year.
They have something going for them.
And the Falcons are going to temporarily retire number 44 in honor of Hank Aaron this year. So that's good for them. It's a touching tribute.
Okay. All right. We want to move on to hot takes?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's do it. So I will pull those up real quick. And I think my first hot take that I have here from the app. So we got, all right. This is from Crazy Spartan 22 on U Stadium. Dan Campbell will find success in Detroit.
I was actually going to bring this up, that his introductory press conference, oh my God.
It was explosive.
That was that was more of a hot take, honestly. That was
it's just I have the clip on my laptop, but I can't figure out how to freaking show it on StreamYard. But you can check it out on U Stadium. I'm sure it's up there somewhere. He's talking about kneecaps and getting
let me find the quote really quick.
And it is golden. And I think Detroit has a guy that I talked about, Brandon Staley, with the Chargers. He has some swagger to him. He has some I'm going to punch you in the mouth, and he has some grit. And I think, look, it's January. No Lions fan is going to be excited for the next 8 months because their team's not going to play. But hey, Dan Campbell came in and came with his hair on fire, and I think that matters.
You say swagger. His nickname is the Dude. That's the embodiment of swagger. So
Uh,
here's the quote. And when you knock us down, we're gonna get up, and on the way up, we're gonna bite a kneecap off. All right.
it's not even like knock a kneecap off or
We're
break
just
a
gonna
kneecap.
bite it off.
It's like, why are you biting kneecaps, Dan Campbell?
But I like that though. I like that he's being like he's confident.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
I
important,
love the
especially for a
confidence.
team like the Lions, where the potential is definitely there.
Mm-hmm. And I think even we can go back to Salah for a moment. I think like Salah did a lot of the same things. That it's a culture. And I know it's cliche to say culture and defensive guys build culture and offensive guys build
It's
game
true
plan.
though.
It's very true. And I do think, I'm not a Jets fan. I haven't had a new head coach since I was 6. But hey, if your head coach can fire you up in January after your team went 5-11 and had an abysmal point differential, I'm all for it. Absolutely all for it.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Because, at the very least, you're excited. And I think that's what being a sports fan matters. To have some excitement, It's not fun to suck.
It's not fun at all to suck.
And the Jets had a great day, and the Lions had a great day. And their teams might not get better, but hey, you had a memory. You had an hour of your time, 90 minutes of your time that you said, I'm happy to be a Jets fan. I'm happy to be a Lions fan.
I'm drawing this parallel between those two coaches because we're just talking about these quotes from Dan Campbell, and I've never seen a defensive coordinator get as hyped up as Robert Saleh.
That's true.
Playing him twice a year. There was a game, I think, in 2019, the Rams played against the 49ers. They were banged up. It was not a fun game, and the 49ers stopped the Rams twice on 4th and 1, or on 3rd and 1, and then 4th and 1, and then he just goes insane. I've never seen it out of anyone that's not the head coach.
Yeah, because I know Sean McVay had the guy that the pullback guy or whatever you call him.
Yeah, he had the get back coach.
That is still one of the funniest tidbits from Super Bowl 53 is that they pay a guy to make sure that Sean McVay doesn't sprint out onto the field. I guess that's.
I don't think he even was there at the Super Bowl too. Everybody was talking about it. I don't even know if he was there.
Huh.
I think he was. I don't remember what he did. What happened there? But
all right, let's get back to these hot takes. So Nick L, shout out to the Cardinals and Nets. Dak Prescott breaks the passing yards record next season. It's a spicy one. He was on pace to send it into orbit this year.
Yeah, he was. That injury was painful to watch. Even though Tony Romo apparently hoped it was just a cramp.
That was rough. That was weird. I love Romo in the booth, but that was just I mean, I'm watching on TV and that's not a cramp.
Yeah, again, I love Romo. He's funny. He brings energy too. I love the energy he gives off. But yeah, that's not a cramp at all. I don't know.
No, that's not a cramp. So through 4 games, the 4 games that Dak played played the whole game, he was on pace for 6,760 yards. That's Madden stats right there. My roommates in my room playing Madden, he's going to put those stats up with Kyler Murray. And even if you factor in the Giants game, he was on pace for 5,900 yards, which would smash Peyton Manning's record of 5,477. So there's a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3 fabulous wide receivers: Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. I don't know what they're going to do with Zeke. They already paid Zeke. I guess the fundamental point here is you have to pay Dak.
Yeah, that's the number one thing here too. Are they even going to pay? Jerry Jones keeps saying Dak is their QB. Where's the contract then? You want him that bad? Figure something out.
Yeah, and I mean, paying quarterbacks is weird, but you don't really get better than Dak. Sure, there's Mahomes. Sure, there's Watson. Sure, there's other guys that, in a perfect world, you'd rather have than Dak. But Dak's a top 10 guy, top 12 guy at the worst. And, I know pass rating is a pretty flawed stat sometimes, but 69 starts, nice. 97 career pass rating. What? The only guys better than that are Watson, Rodgers, Mahomes, essentially. So, I don't know. I think Dallas needs to retain Dak. I don't know. I disagree with them paying Zeke as much as they did. But hey, sometimes investing in a running back works.
I've personally seen it fail. Todd Gurley. It was rough. But hey, now he has Arthur Smith, so who knows? Okay.
Yeah, who knows? But what I do know is that a certain Urban Meyer will be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. Which is interesting. You did not see that coming.
No, I thought he was staying.
I mean, he has a nice couch job at Fox. It's like, why are you coming to the Jaguars? They suck.
Well, they suck for now, but they do have the first overall pick. Sorry, Jets fans.
Rest in peace, Jets fans.
Yeah, I know, right? They're gonna get Trevor Lawrence. There's pieces. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of the pieces on the offense. Like, I like DJ Chark. I like James Robinson. When I get some money, I'm going to buy a Laviska Shenault jersey. Poor Mike. But love me some Vishka. Defensively, I don't think they're talent barren. You know, Miles Jack had a really good year. He would have been a Pro Bowl vote of mine. Kayla Von Chason is a first-round pick. Hey, you have another first-round pick, courtesy of your beloved Rams.
You're welcome, Jaguars.
And you also have, Josh Allen battled through injuries this year. Like, I don't think the Jags are, like, unredeemable. Like, Houston is unredeemable. Philadelphia is probably going to be unredeemable, depending on what they do with the wins. Jacksonville, I don't think, is unredeemable. And you have shining silver Trevor Lawrence walking in, or golden boy.
There's pieces for sure. So I think that's kind of like a wait-and-see type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes coaches, like, they suck in college and then they're insane in the NFL, and then sometimes it's the other way around. So,
right. Yeah, I think if you're Urban Meyer and I'm going to draw a parallel to the John Gruden 10-year contract. If you know that the GM and ownership are going to be comfortable with you moving forward, I think Urban can do some great stuff in terms of you can't really recruit. But like team building aspects, I think he did a really good job of that at Florida. He did a really good job of managing egos. I saw a stat the other day, and I don't know if it's 100% true, so if it's not, okay. Like a third of the 08 Gators team got arrested at some point. This is one of the greatest college football teams ever. They won the championship, and a third of the teams are nut jobs in a way. So I think Urban can build a culture, cliche, but he can do a lot of good things in Jacksonville, and I wouldn't be surprised in 2 or 3 or 4 years if Jacksonville is trending up and could compete in the AFC South and maybe Super Bowls one day.
Maybe. That's, again, they're going up.
So one team that's not very close to the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. They may have won it 3 years ago, but I don't think they're going to get back anytime soon.
No.
And I don't want to, disrespect their new head coach, Nick Sirianni, but the Eagles are in a really bad spot. We've talked about other teams being in goofy spots, teams that are trying downward trend. On the app, we've talked about the Saints, Steelers, Bears, Patriots, these kind of teams. The Eagles have none of they don't have as good of a defense as New Orleans or Chicago. They don't have the culture of New England. They have nothing right now besides a quarterback that's sucks, essentially. And Jalen Hurts is okay, I guess.
Hurts definitely has potential. It's just, I don't even know anymore. Like, it looks like, I'm pretty sure there was a report at first that Doug Peterson was staying. And then it seemed like it was all but certain that Carson Wentz was on his way out. He was unhappy with his position as a backup. He said he didn't want to play as a backup contract. Everybody was just kind of assuming he was going to leave. And then suddenly they have the meeting with Doug Peterson. He gives his idea for the future of the team. Eagles don't like it. They fire him. And now suddenly Wentz might be staying after all. Like, that's
weird.
It's such a weird... It's almost as weird as what's going on with the Rams right now. But at least there's more clarity there than there is here with Philly.
At least the Rams get competent quarterback play out of Goff most of the time.
Yes.
The Eagles didn't get competent quarterback play out of Wentz. And even Hurts, he had his flaws. And then the Week 17 game against Washington, what an ugly way to end the season. Like Nate Sudfeld.
That was
like, I get that Hurts wasn't having his best game ever, but at the same time, you've invested a second-round pick in him like 8 months earlier. Why are you going to Nate Sudfeld? Like, I know it's not a important game for you, but Nate Sudfeld, really?
Let Hurts play that one out. And I mean, you never know. But again, you said he wasn't having his best game, but it's the last game of the year. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're a rookie quarterback, you need all the reps you can get. COVID season, you just need as many reps as you can get. And hey, guess what? You're playing an NFL defense. You're playing a playoff defense. You're playing a top 5 defense in the NFL. Let them play. But
you're not.
Nate Sudfeld, let's go.
The sad thing is the Eagles were not even going to make the playoffs anyway. Like, if they won that game, that meant New York was going to make the playoffs. So
yeah, and
what is there to lose? You're going to get a bad draft spot either way, I'm pretty sure.
Like, I mean, I guess we're closer to getting Devonta Smith. Well, Devonta Smith probably goes 3 to Miami. Oh, we're closer to getting to Jamar Chase. You do realize that this is one of the most talented draft classes for wide receivers ever. Like, if you at least choose the right guy and you're not taking, I don't know, Rager over Jefferson or J-Jaw over, I don't know, DK, McLaurin, A.J. Brown. Like, come on now. If Philly just gets the wide receiver right in either of the last 2 drafts, I don't know if we're having this conversation. But they've screwed it up both times. Imagine that. Although I do like Jalen Rager a lot.
Rager's good. He's got some potential, I think.
I think he can be like a good NFL wide receiver. He kind of feels to me, in a way like Hollywood Brown, that he may not be wide receiver 1 from the class, but I don't think he's a bad player. It just sucks that he's the first wide receiver taken, or in Rager's case, he's taken over guys that are going to be super. Like Justin Jefferson was unbelievable this year. He was unguardable.
He could be rookie of the year, honestly. I think there's a shot. I know people are going to say Justin Herbert, but I feel like he's a sleeper for that award.
I mean, I think Jefferson had a better year. Herbert just plays quarterback.
Yeah. Quarterback bias.
Yeah. Quarterback bias. So thank you guys for coming out today. Sorry we couldn't get to more hot takes, but we will be back next week with even more hot takes.
More chat interaction this time too. I said we would do it, and we didn't really have time.
Yeah, absolutely. We get some more chat interaction next week. Get some more hot takes. Any final words, Jack, before we wrap it up?
Trust the process. If your team sucks right now, just trust the process. That's all I got to say.
Shout out to Cleveland Cavaliers for making me happy the other day. Colin Sexton, 20 points in a row in overtime. I think the Cavs may have something special. I think my next jersey that I'm cooking up is going to be a nice Colin Sexton one. So nice. Thank you everyone for joining us. Episode 2. Peace out.